Hey guys, and welcome to the second episode of the Doge-O-Radio show, the Dogecoin podcast. I'm your host, Reddit user Trip96. My name's Jordan. Hope you guys like my new intro music. I just laid that down before starting to record this week's podcast, trying to add a little production value. Since the pilot episode I released last week, I've come up with some new ideas I want to share with everyone, some changes to the show. So as usual, I'm going to do my intro and my thoughts. Then I want to introduce a new section called Shibe Speak or Shibe Speak, where I have a guest, and I'm sure the community can come up with a couple suggestions. So feel free to comment or call them into the chat below. It'd be great to just have some lighthearted conversation or personal stories or where we're going with things. Just to hear voices of other people in the community. Moving on from that, I'm going to do my regular music show. And this week I've made a couple changes there. I have a little bit of commentary. I'll let you know who it is before I play the song and introduce the next song and those kind of things instead of just playing it back to back. And I'm not sure which I like better. You guys can vote or say something below again. And finally, the last section is going to be a section I've titled Doge Park Bark. I got the idea from dog parks where I live, where dogs can go and just be off the leash and play with other dogs. And the idea behind this last section is to just have some lighthearted fun, some good discussion, nothing too serious. Shout outs from the community to the community, those kind of things where you end the show on a really positive, lighthearted, fun note. And I think that's always a good way to end a piece of media. So I'm going to move right into my thoughts this week. And I want to repeat and reinforce the idea of Doge being a currency and the adoption rate. The people, the 99% of people in my life that don't use digital currencies are probably going to start the digital currency world with Dogecoin, especially if they're around me. I mean, it's easy to give one of my friends some Dogecoins on their Android phone with the Dogecoin wallet. I mean, you just literally take a scan of the QR code and that's it. Type in the amount and press send, and people are blown away at how easy that is. And that's one of the benefits of digital currencies. And I'm preaching to the choir when I say there's many benefits. Also, Dogecoin is perfect to help people who are not used to digital currencies yet. It's a launching platform into it, probably also the last currency they'll use. Again, this is my personal story. I started a couple months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. It was basically late January, early February. And I knew about Bitcoin. I'm a pretty tech-savvy guy, but I never got into Bitcoin. And I introduced myself on the Dogecoin subreddit, and I got my first Dogecoin. And that simple act, I mean, facilitated by the tip bot, which has been made before, or so I understand, but really Dogecoin was the first to utilize that to its full potential with the tipping and the social nature of currency, which is a cool spin on it. And I got my first Dogecoin, and ever since then, it's really easy to go from wow, thank you, to how do I get more? How do I send this to other people? I now mine, and you heard last week I talked about how I've sold things, bought things, traded for fiat, traded fiat for Doge. Like I've done everything. It's literally my number 2 currency. I use Canadian dollars and I use Dogecoin. And I always make the fun joke when I see people who need money from me or I'm buying things. Do you accept Dogecoin? And they always are like, what? And you give them a brief idea or a card or even a paper wallet with some Doge on it, and that's the power here, is that the currency is perfect for mass adoption because there's so many Dogecoins. It has an inflationary model which pushes it. It doesn't keep it. It nudges it in the direction of usable currency. So it's not like gold, where we know there's a finite amount, or bitcoins where we know there's only 21 million or whatever going to be made. I better hold on to it so I can get more money, so the value increases. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are hoping the value of Doge increases, which it has this past week a little bit, which is good news. I'm recording this on Saturday, so I hope nothing crazy happens, which is so possible with digital currencies because they're in their infancy, etc. But right now we are on a little bit of a rally, and we're sitting okay. Anyways, Dogecoin's power is in the adoption by the masses, and we do things to help that, right? The Olympic events, and now upcoming the NASCAR event, is really going to put it in the face that this is something that's usable. And then when you come to the subreddit, you're like, oh, this is a friendly place. People are helping each other. People are giving me money. Oh, I gave someone money. That's a weird feeling I have. Oh, why are there so many fun things going on? Why isn't anyone putting anyone else down? I mean, it rarely happens. And so it's easy to stay, and it's easy to learn more, and it's easy to participate, which is all important for general mass adoption. And that's where its strength lies. So I'm going to move on to a little bit of talking about an idea I want to put up, and this is an idea I think that I might go either way on, but currently how I see it is I'd like to see Dogecoin decouple from Bitcoin. And I mean, not divorce it and disregard it completely, but we tend to measure Dogecoin. I do this sometimes, even though I'm actively trying not to. You measure it in Satoshis, which is the smallest unit of a Bitcoin. And it'd be better for Bitcoin, I think, if you made the simple change of measuring it in US dollars or Canadian dollars if you want to help us Canucks out, but most likely US dollars, because that seems to be a global standard for currency conversion. It's a global currency, no doubt. If you've ever traveled, US dollars are accepted everywhere. But it would be good if we decoupled from Bitcoin. I want to talk a little bit about nomenclature, which is a strange topic to bring up, but Dogecoin is considered an altcoin or alternative coin, just like Litecoin or Peercoin or WorldCoin, Vertcoin, those things. That very name implies that it is a subordinate to Bitcoin, which means it's an alternative, or it's kind of like it's one of the others. And if you separate yourself and there's many differences between Bitcoin and Dogecoin. Certainly, the algorithm itself is different. The idea of the blockchain is the same, but the amounts, the way the inflationary mechanisms, there's a lot of difference. Transaction time, that's a big one. And so you would never see a successful group or company or anything, community, anything like that, advertise itself as an alternative. Like, you'd never see Visa putting out, trying desperately to market themselves as a MasterCard alternative or anything like that. They're trying to say that they have a unique product, right? And then that's an idea I think that could help with adoption as well. When you say Bitcoin, a lot of people see the negative press about Bitcoin, and the average person is like, oh, Bitcoin's CEO is gone, or it's bankrupt, or this and that, which we laugh at in the community because that's not true. It's impossible for it to be bankrupt. But it's cool it'd be cool if Dogecoin was the entrance. Bitcoin's always going to be around, I think. Well, not always, but I think it's a long-term player. But it'd be cool if you learned about Bitcoin because you heard about Dogecoin. And that being the gateway often is also the final stop. So again, with the mass adoption, that idea, something to think about when you're commenting or posting in Reddit. The Dogecoin market on Reddit, funnily enough, does that already. They either use euros or US dollars or Canadian dollars, which, because most people want to buy Dogecoin currently or trade fiat for Doge, which is cool. It's better than Bitcoin for Doge, because if you make Bitcoin that market entrance, like not too long ago, you probably would have had to go to somewhere like Coinbase, convert US dollars into Bitcoins, use Bitcoins to buy Dogecoins. If that is still the process, then you're obviously the little brother. You're obviously the subordinate. You're obviously the alt. And you move away from that and you gain power, I think. And it'd be cool to hear people's discussion there. All right, cool. What I think I'm going to do now is move right into the music. I feel like I've talked enough about what's going on. Hopefully you've sparked a little bit of debate or put some ideas in your head. These are real basic things. So the first music that I'm going to play today is by an artist called Gibnoob, Gibnoob or Gibnoob. I hope I'm saying that okay. The title of the album is Late for Work. The title of the track is called Clocked In, and it's the first track off this album. I hope you guys enjoy it. Have a good time. All right, guys, there we go. That's the first track on this week's podcast by Gibnoob off the album Late for Work. It's the first track called Clocked In. Again, you can find this music on Dogetunes. Please go support the artists, buy their album, donate, or at least listen. Now let's move on to our second track. And the second track I got emailed to me. So I'm going to read the email that I got because I think it's pretty cool, and I like it when artists can communicate directly. So, hello again. I totally have a track I'd love you to play. It's actually 2 songs spliced together. One's the intro for the other one. The joined track only totals 2 minutes. Attached is the song file. The song is called Unabridged, or the intro portion is abridged and the song with the lyrics is unabridged. The artist's name is Hunter. The song is written about angry projected emotions. I've been writing music for a while after teaching myself guitar 4 years ago. I go to school for engineering in upstate New York and perform/record on the side. My inspirations include Radiohead and Jeff Buckley. Then there's a little bracket section, and I used all the info, Hunter. So I'm glad you're going to get to hear yourself today on the podcast. Again, there's links to Dogetunes in the comments here. Hunter also has a Bandcamp. So here we go. This is Hunter with the spliced song, abridged and unabridged. Enjoy, guys.
Money from your mother, there'll always be ugly on the reverse. If I get on a cold shoulder, I'm fucking you up, hey, I'm fucking you up, oh.
That was Hunter with a song called Unabridged, abridged, unabridged, a little 2-part section there. I want to thank Hunter for emailing me that one in, and just going to move right into the next song. This is by a UK band called Auto Rotation, and the track is called Instant Love. So I hope you guys enjoy this last song.
I think
And that was Auto Rotation with a track called Instant Love. All the tracks today and last week's podcast are available on dogetunes.net. Check them out, support them, can't say it enough. So this is where next week I plan to have a little bit more of an involved section here, but it relies on the community effort. This is where we're going to put the Doge Park Bark. One thing that I can say is, why don't we start just discussing the value increase and what's going on. It seemed like it came out of the blue for me, but I'm sure there's some exchange or something that came online that helped spike value recently. Another thing to think about is how just in your everyday life you can promote digital currency. It really is better for everyone. It's not like you're converting or anything like that. It's just simply better than the current model that we have. And that's my opinion, I guess. If you disagree with it, you're probably not listening to this podcast, are you? Anyways, this pretty much concludes the podcast for this week. And I just wanted to, probably get a sign-off at some point. I'm going to have to come up with a clever sign-off I use all the time. But this week, just keep doing what you're doing. Get ready for the Halvening. Buckle in your seatbelts for that roller coaster. That's going to be a great time. And be good to each other. And just have a good weekend. It's Easter weekend if you're in North America. And yeah, see you later, guys.